In this video, we're going to walk through the home view for our shared client workspace. It's a bit of a client portal, if you will, which is going to help us streamline our communications with our clients throughout the course of any new project. We will cover 3 steps. First of all, we'll do a quick tour of the home view and what can be done with this OS. Next, we'll discuss how to invite clients into the workspace and share access with them. And finally, we'll discuss some best practices for wrapping up the project and permissions to the workspace. So this is the default home view, which we will have in the left column. We have some links to our main sections of the workspace. In the main area, we have a bit of an overview of our project and the various stages that we anticipate working through. This project overview is taken directly from our project proposal. If you haven't used the proposal template to sketch out and map out your project overview, you can also just edit that field directly from this view. Next, in the main area, we have our actions list. This is something that will be shared view between you and the client. So for example, if I wanted to assign a task to my client or someone who's working with me on the project, for example, sharing all account and passwords, after I invite them into the workspace, I can assign them to the task. Right now it's just me in here, but I'll assign it to myself. Anyway, I can set a target date, I can give it an area that's most relevant, and I can give it a status. By default, this board is sorted by priority in the rows and by status in the columns, so that what we have is the highest priority and least developed tasks in the top left, with as we move across the top row, we're talking about those high priority tasks that are being completed. Lower we go, the lower the priority of those particular actions. Then we have a little linked view, which is showing us any upcoming calls. This is filtered to show any calls that are scheduled within the next week. You can obviously adjust this to whatever's most helpful for you, but this is referencing our calls database, which is here. If you haven't viewed the individual videos, we have some guidance on each of these blocks. We have a customer and user personas area. We have a competitors database with some templates inside there and some segmenting and sorting. We have a brand, vision, story, and mission template, which you can fill out. We have a drafts and feedback area. There's more detail on each of these, along with the project proposal, project agreement, and an NDA if that's relevant for your project. So that's kind of a quick tour of the shared client workspace. The idea is for you to be able to quickly tailor these processes to your own workflow. Just keep the ones that are working best for you, and over time you can just duplicate this template over and over again with each new client and save yourself all the hassle of setting things up. It's also kind of a neat surprise for your client to have everything so nicely organized from day one. So once you have it all set up as you would like it to be delivered to your client, you can also change for their logo and change with your own branding if you like. We're just going to quickly walk through how to share this. So after you have duplicated it into your own workspace, you should have this view and the option to share it. So with this particular template, what we're going to do is we're going to invite people via email. So you'll want to hit this area, type in the email that your client has shared with you, and invite them into the workspace. It will show them as a guest. You can give them various permissions. I would recommend giving them edit access so that they can write notes and they can add things of their own. And once you do that, they will have full access to all of the pages and views within this workspace, and you can take it from there. Then when you're ready to wrap up a project and deliver, you want to make sure that the client has access to any of the research, any strategic work, any designs and assets, project assets that you have delivered. You'll want to make sure that they have access to all of that thinking and work that's gone into it before you close off access to the shared workspace. So there are a couple of ways to do that. First, if they're familiar with Notion, you can just kind of talk them through it and say, hey, you have access to this workspace for the full duration of our project together. Be sure to duplicate and clone any of these sections into your own team workspace. And the easiest way for them to do that is going to be go down to the very bottom of the workspace, drag and select all of the pages. So, we have a slightly more aesthetic and more friendly UI up here, but all of the pages and information of this particular workspace can be gathered from this view. So we're going to ask them to copy all of this, right click, duplicate, or in this case, we're going to say from their view, ask them to hit move to, and they'll have the option to move it into their own workspace. Alternatively, they can use the keyboard with this dragged and selected. If they hit Command C, Control C, depending on their device, they can also navigate to their own home view and copy all of the pages with all of the information, all of the assets inside. After they have done that, after you've confirmed that they have all the info that they need, you can return back to this shared area, or you can head over to the settings and members area, and you will disinvite them from the workspace, assuming you want to free up space for other projects. If, on the other hand, you have the full team account and you don't mind keeping them as one of your guests, you can always just leave this space as their own area to keep access to going forward. So that's a quick summary of the shared client workspace. I personally have been using this for my own client projects, and it saves a bunch of hours with the initial project setup and onboarding. It saves a lot of time with the back and forth. Clients can kind of add important pieces as they go along. They can check on the status and give feedback, even though we might be in different time zones. And I just found it a rather helpful tool for kind of solidifying my own processes and duplicating them very, very quickly. So if this is something that you'd like to start implementing in your own work, then by all means you can duplicate any of the specific blocks for free with an account at Landmark Labs. If you have a membership subscription, you can also duplicate the full template workspace, or you also have the option to purchase this particular workspace individually.